Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for SummerSlam Night 2, 2025. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Shall we? Leave a like, comment below, and know your thoughts on SummerSlam. I'm sure you have plenty, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? So, before we get into the show overall within itself, let's go ahead and just discuss the elephant in the room, right? It's the main reason that you probably clicked on this video, is just to get an opinion on someone's thought on the return of Brock Lesnar. And I am just going to be completely up front with y'all. And that is, I don't know. I do not know how to feel. I'm sure my reaction to the return was like most people's reaction. I mean, you hear the music, it's a moment, right? Like you can't help but go, oh my God, and get a little excited. But when the music played and the initial, oh my God, went off, I couldn't help but think like, why is he here? Is everything good? Is he cleared? Is he not cleared? What is happening? Like, I immediately went to it because for those of you who probably do not know, which I imagine everyone here does know, is that Brock Lesnar is part of that lawsuit case. Is he a defendant? No, but he has been, named in the testimony. Within the case, you can read it. The things that he is accused of doing are absolutely morbid, and just not good, not good whatsoever. Now, I can only imagine, and I'm not. This is by no means me defending WWE at all, but I can only imagine that the legal team, which has reported that they gave him the green light like 4 weeks ago, have done everything, have checked every single box, and they feel confident that Brock is innocent. Is he or is he not? That's still up for the court to decide. I know Janelle Grant's lawyer also sent out a statement, and I do think WWE needs to send out a statement too, along with Brock Lesnar. One, it's just not a good look that y'all chose SummerSlam to be the first show without the press conference when he has his return. Is Brock Lesnar returning an indicator of that? I don't know. It sure does look like it. I think that is very fair to say that, like, hey, it does look like that. But to me personally, the press conferences didn't really mean much to me anymore after a while. Like the first year, I really did enjoy. I think it was up until maybe 39 or post that, where I didn't really care to watch him anymore because the questions, not discredit the people who are doing much more successful than me, but to me the questions weren't really that engaging until I really got to Triple H, and even then sometimes it was very hit or miss. I'm not going to go over the constant questions that people bring up, but to me, like, the press conferences didn't really mean anything to me whatsoever. So I thought they would go away at some point, but the timing of now that we're going to get rid of them and Brock Lesnar showing up does raise some white flags. And yeah, no, again, this just goes back to, look, they need to tell us something so that way I can really truly know how to feel. For those who are, I'm done with WWE. I don't fault you whatsoever. If you are going to, I'm just not going to give them any of my attention until they get rid of the guy. That's absolutely fair for you to do because yes, we should trust the victims. Absolutely. And for the people who are defending the decision and are happy for Brock to be back, one, you have every right to be happy that one of your favorites is back. I know that's not going to be a popular thing to say, but I do think it is fair for you to do that. However, please don't attack Janelle Grant and to attack the others, because what Brock is accused of doing and having a part in and not vocalizing the horrendous things that were happening, he does deserve some accountability towards that. I understand you were excited and you don't want to be excited for someone who did something horrible. Like I said, I'll fully admit it. I initially popped too until, the realization came into me. So I understand to a degree. You do not want to parade someone who is accused of such horrible things and you're just like, yep, he is automatically cleared. Again, you would assume WWE has done every single precaution to do that. But just try to be mindful of everything. And that's really all I really have to say towards it, again, like, the whole moment, it was a really odd thing because, yeah, the music hits. You can't help but get excited, especially if you were a fan of Brock Lesnar, such as myself. But then I would hope, like me, most of you, like, after the initial pop goes, it just goes, wait, what is he doing here? Why is he here? Why is no one giving an explanation? And I do think WWE does deserve an explanation at some point. It doesn't need to be a press conference. I do think we need to, get a statement in some way, shape, or form, and Brock needs to get a statement. I think they owe that to us. Will we get it? Probably not. Which, again, it's just very, very shady. But I rambled for a good solid 5 minutes there. If you turned off, I completely understand. If you are mad at me, I understand. If you understand where I'm coming from, thank you for that. Now let's get into the show properly as a whole. And I said in my night 1 review, I was like, I'm really excited for night 2 because there was a lot of stipulation matches, and within that, it gives a lot of possibility to be disappointed. And I wouldn't say overall I'm disappointed in night 2. I just do think we maybe should have evened it out a little bit. We had a total of, well, hell, there was 5. There was 5 no DQ matches. I know the triple threat match had no weapons in it whatsoever. So technically there was 4 actual known no DQ matches. And yeah, we should have evened them out. I think Lyra versus Becky was the main culprit of that. One, I do think the match was a little bit overbooked. It was a little convoluted in a lot of ways. And maybe we could have trimmed off 2, maybe 5, hell, maybe even 10 minutes off of the match. Maybe we could have done without the whole zip tie storyline. That one, that was to me the main crux of the whole entire thing. But also, when it's coming off of that tables, ladders, and chairs match, do people really want to see more tables? I mean, y'all saw it when Lyra pulled out that table to snap into a Slim Jim. There was hardly no reaction, and I did see people were doing the wave during the match, and people were going, overseas wouldn't have done that. Yes, they would have. One, they did. We see it at Bash in Berlin. They did the wave when we got to the main event. Those crowds go absolutely ruckus, but I don't think this is a American or overseas type of scenario here. After tables, ladders, and chairs, especially how crazy that tables, ladders, and chairs match was, no one's going to care to see flippy stuff. We probably should have put Dom and AJ in that spot just so that there was a little bit of a fresher before going into it. And I did think them just simply going after that TLC match is what really, really hurt them. And again, it just went a little long. And again, how we got to the ending, which I do think was the right ending, was just, again, a very convoluted way to get there. I think they had a great match, a good throwdown. Out of the 3, is it the weakest? Probably. I would have to re-watch all 3, and if we count the triple threat as well, then yeah, it's probably 4th out of the 4. But again, I'll have to re-watch to really give my hard answer onto that. But yeah, I think that match to me was the realization of, okay, no, we shouldn't have done all stipulations than all regular. Yeah, sure, it gives a difference between the nights, but I think we could have had a much better flow through all 2 nights if we would have put 2 of the stipulations. Okay, the no DQ match between Lyra and Becky would put down night 1. Maybe take the tag title match out and put that to night 2. Maybe flip that. Okay, now we're going to move the steel cage match. Probably needs to go to night 1. And then maybe move Jelly Roll and Orton over to night 2. And maybe that brings a little bit more balance into the force here. Because also that steel cage match, I just didn't really care for it that much. Definitely my least favorite match out of the whole entire weekend. Well, no, maybe second to last, because Carrie Ann and Sammy was very hit or miss for me too. But, the whole bloodline thing, and I have been very, very adamant on how I feel about the whole bloodline stuff. It's been the same thing over and over again. I just need Solo to go in another direction, and I need Jacob to go into another direction. I need Jimmy to go to another direction as well. I just don't need the Samoans to be facing each other. I need Solo Sikoa to go up against a Damian Priest. I need Jacob Fatu to go against an Aleister Black. I just need freshness within it, because it was the same exact type of booking. There was a good little throwdown at first, and then here come the run-ins, especially when it's a cage match. It just, the whole point of the cage is to keep people out, then people got in, and then, there's a big whole cluster, and then the bad guy wins, and then the good guy does some strong stuff after the bell's over just to send some of the fans happy. I just explained this match, but I guarantee you could probably think of 5 other bloodline versus match that have that same exact type of finish. To me, it was just overdone, and we did the handcuff spot again because the girls had the zip ties, and then Jacobs getting handcuffed to the cage, and they went back to back. Like, that's the same spot. There's just something within the production meeting was just like, hey, we having two handcuff spots here. Maybe one needs to go away. So yeah, those two were the main indicators, but it was a little bit of a swollen spot to me. I think the opener triple threat match was a lot of fun. Was it WrestleMania 41? No, but I don't think it was ever going to be. I liked the story quite a bit of Rhea and Io would kind of focus on each other the whole entire time, and Naomi would just kind of come in and jump in every once in a while. I wasn't a huge fan of what we were really trying to get across to the audience, though, because it really did feel like, because we did give Io nothing. I know she hit the moonsault on Rhea, but she never went for the pin. But we really did establish that Rhea Ripley would have won. Rhea Ripley would have won because she hit the Riptide on Naomi, 1-2, Io pushes it out. And then Rhea hits, I don't remember if it was an avalanche Riptide or just a regular Riptide, but she hits another one. And she pins Io 1-2, and then Naomi hits the surprise roll-up for the 1-2-3, where again, the main takeaway from the matches is not necessarily, oh, Io could have had a one, and Rhea could have had a one, and Naomi just snuck in on it. No, it was, Rhea would have won, but that dang Naomi. So now where do we go? I would assume Rhea and Io have to have one more match. And this is when Rhea does win. Again, I would kind of like it if Io is like that kryptonite until we get to where, they're both about to wrap up their careers, and then Rhea can finally get her win after it's over there. Again, I just think this is something that you just constantly go back to throughout the years with this kryptonite storyline. But I do assume that we would do one more so that Rhea can get the win. And then Naomi goes on to face Stephanie Bakir at Clash in Paris, which is going to be forming to be a really interesting card, especially after how this night ended. Tables, ladders, and chairs again was absolutely nuts. I mean, the Candice LeRae spot, Tommaso Ciampa hanging upside down when they tried to do a callback to the WrestleMania 17 TLC match, which I did like. They did a lot of those types of callback spots to the other TLC matches. That was a lot of fun. I was a little worried at first. It might be maybe too many bodies with too many weapons. Honestly, yes, the Candice LeRae spot was gnarly. Mad respect to her. Tommaso Ciampa hanging upside down was pretty cool. And at the time, that was probably my spot of the night. But I gotta tell you, I love the four corner spot with Montez Ford jumping over the top rope, which we've seen multiple times. And then I forgot who was on the other corner. Maybe it was Nathan Frazier who jumps over and hits him through the table. Then Phoenix jumping over the corner and hitting the table on the outside. And then it caps off with Axiom and Angelo Dawkins taking a Spanish fly through the table. I mean, that was just great stuff there. White 6 hold on to the titles. Was really interesting about that. We'll see where we go on here. Again, if a draft is to be happening soon, which is the rumor, some of these teams need to go to Monday nights just to bring more balance to the tag division. But yeah, overall, very fun TLC match. I don't know how we keep escalating it. We already talked about the women's IC and the men's US title. Then we go to the men's IC title. To me, it was just a lot of fun. The whole Eddie Guerrero spot. One, I liked how they each wore that 2005 gear. Ray had the Rey Mysterio gear with the gray, and then AJ had the Eddie Guerrero stuff. Came out in the lowrider. Loved the callback to the fake chair spot, which we do so many times. And AJ putting it on, and he starts twitching his leg. Was so funny to me. Really sent me out. And again, that match stood out in a lot of ways compared to the rest of the card because it was the only regular match. Now, I don't fully subscribe to this, oh, you can't have too many stipulation matches because one, we had Extreme Rules, right? But also, if you take the stipulations away, then you have all regular matches. Isn't that kind of the same? Night one was all regular matches and no one bats an eye. And then we have all stipulation matches basically for night two. And now everyone has a problem saying, oh no, we need to limit it. I just don't fully subscribe to that. I am more than able to have a conversation about that to see why there is a difference between, all regular is okay, but all stipulations is a problem. I just think, maybe we went overdone it. And again, that TLC match to me was always going to overshadow it. Maybe we make that the opener and then maybe more people calm down a little bit. Or again, we moved the TLC match to night 1, and that's the one stipulation. So there, these night 2 stipulation matches could have had a little bit more time to breathe in between each one, because I really don't think Anthony was going to be able to regain the energy until we got to the main event, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. A lot of people are saying that online. I tend to agree with him. This was Cena's best match in like a really long time, since maybe the AJ Styles trilogy. So the Royal Rumble in San Antonio, I was there for that match, by the way, when he won 16. It was probably his best match since then. I mean, everything from the presentation, he comes out, it's all black. You're like, oh no, he still has the black. And then the colors pop out and the crowd pops. He's talking to Stu. It's getting you all emotional. They do the hug, but this time it's about respect. And they just start punching the crap out of each other. It was a true street fight. And I like how, Cody acknowledging the crowd when, every time he'll beat him up with the weapon, the crowd would boo him. And he goes, guys, I got to beat him up. Like, this is what we have to do. It's a street fight. It is what it is. Love the spot where they go through the Cody Vader as well, where Cena has him up in the AA. You could tell that Cena was loving every single part of that. He couldn't help but smile. You could just tell they were having a ball. Cena hitting a code red was freaking rad as well. They kicked out of so many finishers, which leads to believe, the next matches that they have, Cena will be okay because, he's going to face Brock. But, Cody, whoever he's feuding with, if they don't kick out, if they only last through 3 crossroads, they're going to seem weak as hell due to how many times we hit the finisher. But hey, it is what it is. It was just a lot of fun. It was a very, very fun main event. Cody Rhodes winning was the right choice. I know a lot of people are giving him a hard time with the whole salute part. I loved it. It was a good callback to well, not a callback, but it just reminded me of WrestleMania 24 when Shawn Michaels goes, I'm sorry, I love you. It was just giving Cena that last bit of respect, hits the crossroads, 1, 2, and then when the ref hits the 3, you just see Cody like, oh man, that sucks, but I had to do it. He wins the title. We do the proper passing of the torch. You could tell it meant a lot to Cody. It meant a lot to Cena too. I'll be curious to see what those final words that they said. And then, of course, we had the ending, but we talked about that at the top. But yeah, overall, I like night 2. I think overall this was a very special SummerSlam. I think it topped WrestleMania 41. It does have a sour taste at the end due to what happened. But again, we'll see what happens in execution. And again, hopefully WWE gives out a statement, because I do think they owe that to us. And if they don't, then they got some problems that they need to address, that they need to talk to a therapist about. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about it down in the comment section. Leave a like if you made this far within the review. I do greatly appreciate it. And of course, hit that subscribe button, as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.